comes out because he's got his little mouth open and he's got his little mouth wrapped around a nut. So I'm just going to get the rough shapes in, and I can adjust things as I need to. So I'm going to take that around there. Actually, I've got to make his head wider because you can actually see that side of his face around that edge of the nut. He's got his little nose there. He's got an eye here. Comes down like that. And he's got an eye about there. I can move these around as I need to. I'll pop his little ear up there. He's already making me smile. He's already making me smile. They are such cute little dudes. We don't get them here in Australia, but my son-in-law's Canadian, and he's told me lots of stories about these cute little dudes. And my daughter went over there for a holiday, and he's holding a couple of nuts. So he's got a couple. It's really clever. It's very cute. So I'm going to pop that one there like that. Alright, he's got a bit of shine on his eye there. I've got to erase. There's my eraser. Erase a couple of these lines because I drew him because I adjusted a few lines here and there. Alright, now he's got his little hand. He's got one finger there. He's got a finger there. How many fingers have they got? I can only see 4. I'm sure there's a thumb there somewhere. And then he's got another one coming up here. So I'm going to do those there like that. He's got a bit of a balance happening. Okay, like that. So I'll just do that. And then he's got his little belly. His little arm comes around there like that. So I'll make that a bit wider like that. Make that a little bit wider. Erase that bit. He's a little fatty. I can't see his tail. His tail sort of disappears off out of the picture. And I can just see the bottoms of his legs there. I need to get another picture of a chipmunk so I can see his little feet. I'm going to have to Google another picture of a chipmunk. Oh, there's his little feet. Oh my God, they're so cute. They are such cute little creatures. So I'm going to give him little feet. He's got 5 little toes. 1, 2, 3. I see 4 of them. There's one off there. And then we'll give him one here. 2, 3, 4, 5. His little fat belly. I'm going to screenshot that one because that is so flippin' cute. Oh, and I pressed the wrong button. Hang on. I'm just going to screenshot that photo because that is so cute. Because I can use that for his feet references. So I'm using 2 different pictures now, which helps. Okay. Oh, okay. Go to there. Scroll all the way down. Nope. Just bear with me, peeps. I'm just scrolling to the bottom of my photos. There we go. Okay. Alright. I'm quite happy with that. It's just even a basic sketch. It's a very cute. I'm going to pop some grass in. He's standing on a little branch. I'll pop him standing on a little branch. I'll pop some bit of grass in behind it and in front of it. It does make me smile. He's got a little fat belly. And he's got his markings. He's got a little bit of stripe coming around his eyes, like that. He's got stripes down his little back. You can barely see them. I can barely see them. Right. He's a cutie. He's a little cutie muffin. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to grab my brush. Grab my bit of cloth. And we're going to do his fur first. And we're going to do it transparent sienna. Whoops, got to clean my brush. I thought I had cleaned it, but it's not clean enough. Get some transparent sienna and pop that on. Just a loose, a soft, diluted, very diluted, so a lot of water, a little bit of pigment, just to get that first layer on. He's a lighter gold colour around his eyes, so I'll go around that. Go up here. He's darker onto his nose, so I can actually take that down to his nose like that. And the excess paint I can just pick up like that and take around the sides of his face. Same on that side. He's got that lighter tan colour around his back and around his cheeks. So I've got to figure out what colour I'm going to use for that. I can go lighter here. I've got to go lighter onto his belly. He's darker down his back. So take that down and around there. Come down and around here. Like that. I'll drag and I'll soften that. That down there. Like that. Okay. So now I'm going to find, what colour am I going to use? I could use a gold. A bit of orange maybe. A bit of gold. A bit of gold. We'll go with a bit of gold. And a bit of yellow ochre. A little bit of yellow ochre into here, because this is paler. More pale. Around his face and around his eyes. Like that. Doesn't matter if it blends in with the other colour that I've already got on the paper, because they go together. It works quite well. It'll just make an orangey tone. So like that. It'll dry back a little bit lighter than it is, which is fine. These little arms have got that goldy colour. And so is his little belly. So very diluted. Very, very diluted. Like that. Right. Now, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. I'm just going to absorb up that excess little bit. I might just go over this with my damp brush and just soften it, lighten it and soften it a fraction. Okay, and then touch it with my damp cloth, my clean cloth, sorry, not my damp cloth, my clean cloth, just to lighten it up. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to do his little hands, and I'm going to use a bit of Venetian red, because his little hands do look like they are that sort of tone. Whoops, I've got too much water in there, but I can drag that around to the other finger. So I'll just dip my brush, whoops, into that and run it around the fingers. Pop another little finger in there. This is just the initial layers. I will add more detail, but that's a start. And I'll join all those together like that with a little hand in a minute. Righto, now do his little toesies. Pop onto there. Do his little toesies. Like that. There we go. Alright. Now what green am I going to use? I'm going to use a sap for the grass under his little feet. I'm literally going to do that. Just to give that a little bit of fun texture. Like that. Take that around there. And I'll actually wet my brush and take that down. I'll add some olives and stuff as well, olive greens and some different greens in there as well. But for right this second, I'm just going to do that. I'll make an olive. So that same green, so sap green, and I add some blue. Add some cobalt blue, we'll darken that up. And a bit of brown will make it like a darker green. So I add a little touch of brown, to my palette and into the green. And it just creates, so it's a bit darker, a bit of interest in there, like that. Because grass does have browny bits, tips of it sometimes. And I can add a little bit of yellow ochre in there as well for a bit of fun. Just keep it simple. I want the focus on the little chipmunky, and I'll do a soft green background for the behind him. Actually, I should take that up around there a bit too. I'll get a bit more sap in there, a bit more sap green. Take that up behind him a little bit as well, like that. Like that. So he's sitting in the grass, not on top of the grass. That's a bit better. They always look better when they're sort of blended into their background. So now I'll make up a bit more of that sap and a bit of brown. Mix that in and then do the same thing with that bit that I've just added. So it sort of blends in a bit better, like that. There we go. Clean my brush, let that dry. I'll do a soft background, a soft hazy green background in a little bit. I can get onto his eyes now. So his eyes are a very dark brown. So I'm going to use burnt umber and cobalt blue. Burnt umber and cobalt blue, sorry, cobalt blue. I had to double check then. To make it my own black. I like to make my own blacks, my own darks. So burnt umber and cobalt blue make a fantastic dark. And I'm going to go straight in to his eyeball. And do the pupil part. I'll add a couple of layers. Actually, it's not his pupil, that's his whole eye. I'll do the whole eye. Like that. I'll make it a bit wider. Like that. There we go. So that's burnt umber cobalt blue. Makes that lovely black. Or it's a brown black. But yeah, you don't need to buy black paint. You can use pretty much any dark brown and blue. There we go. Take that down to a point at the front. There we go. I've got to make that one a little bit lower. Like that. Okay. Hello, Joe. How are you? How are you? How are you? So now I'm going to go back in. I'm going to grab some more. Actually, I might go burnt sienna. Go a bit of burnt sienna. Bit of burnt sienna. And I'm going to start to add darker tones around his little ears. It just makes me giggle. He's so cute. How's your day been, Joe? Hope you're having a good one. I just felt so inspired to paint this little cutie muffin. So he just, yeah. I saw this picture and was like, oh my God, how cute is he? I have to paint him. Looks so beautiful. Thank you. Hello, acrylic. Thank you. Yeah, I love painting. I love mice. I love deer fawns. I love anything that's got, they're just so cute. Bunny rabbits, kittens. I love painting all of these things and drawing them. They make me smile. And I find when I'm smiling when I work, paintings happen really well. We don't get these little dudes here, but I just love them. My kids, my son-in-law's Canadian, and my daughter went to Canada, and they're both photographers, so they've got tons of photos of these little dudes. This isn't actually one of theirs, but I found this one online. But they just make me smile, and thank you. I've got to figure out, I've got to go some browns. I've got to go some darker browns. So I'm going to grab a bit of mahogany because it's got a little bit of red to it. So I don't want it to be like a dark brown. I want a reddy brown for his little fur. So I'm going to go mahogany. And while that's still damp, I'm going to add that mahogany brown into his darker areas. He's got all different fur texture. I've got to be a bit careful here because I don't want to make it too solidly one colour. I've got to leave little gaps. Quokkas are cute. Oh, quokkas are so cute. Quokkas are gorgeous. Oh my goodness. I actually painted quokkas for one of my friends, or a little quokka, and they're adorable little creatures. So cute. And they're always smiling. They're always smiling. I'm actually going to do the background. I think it needs his background, but I'm going to do that a plain sap green. So I'm just going to dilute it right down, very diluted, and just wash it around carefully, not touching the edges of him just yet because the edge of his head is still a bit damp. And I'm just going to take that right down to the grass level. Come around there because he just needs a soft background because he's looking a bit like he's popping off his page. And I don't want him to look like he's popping off his page. So I'll just give him a very soft green background like that because he's in a grassy bit. And then his little peanuts, cute little peanuts. There we go. He's got his little soft green background. Your next visit, we will go and see them for sure. Oh, cool! Yeah, they are adorable. Adorable, adorable. There's the cutest photo of, I've gone completely blank on our actor's name, this actor. And he's laying on the ground with one next to him and he's smiling and it's smiling as well. And it's just heartwarming. And they're the gentlest, cutest, sweetest little animals. Absolutely adorable. All right, so I'm just popping. I've got to do his little nose. His little nose is going to be dark, so I'm going to go mahogany. I'll start with mahogany, but I will add a darker brown. I'll go more pure pigment, so it's a bit darker for now, and then I'll add a bit of burnt umber towards the end. Look how cute they are. And now it's darker here. I'm just checking where his furry bits are darker. Got to be a little bit careful. Chopped off the top of my reference by accident. He's got a little bit of darker there. So it's bleeding a little bit onto the green, but it's not the end of the world. Come down and around here. Okay, I'm going to go back in. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do the darker strip down the back. He's got a darker strip down his back that I'm not going to go with dark yet, but I'm going to add mahogany because he's got that little dark strip there. It comes down. And I've got to actually pop a little bit around the edge of his arm. I've got to darken up his arm. So I'm going to go back to my transparent sienna, my favourite colour on earth. Transparent sienna is, I'm using my Schminky watercolours. And transparent sienna is the most beautiful soft red brown. It's really great for these natural animal colours. Natural animal earthy sort of colours. And I'll leave little snippets of the lighter colour through so you can see that creates fur texture a little bit. So you can see I've got the base layers that it's transparent sienna very thinly. The second layer is what colours are you using? I am using my Senneliers and Schminkies, but mainly Sennelia today. I use a couple of colours from each. I'm using my burnt umber from my, oh actually sorry, I fib. My Schminkies are my transparent sienna and my mahogany, and my burnt umber I'm using from my Senneliers because I love Sennelia and I love Schminky evenly. But when I do human portraits, because I've started doing human portraits, I use core watercolours because they've got the best tones for skin tone for humans. So And you can see I've got a little bit of a bleed there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my brush thoroughly and just carefully wet it. And this is what I love about Schminkies and Senneliers. You can lift your mistakes. See how I had that little bleed there? I've completely got rid of it. I'll let that dry now, and I can pop a little bit of sap green back there. Right, so now I'm going to do me nuts. So me nuts, I'm going to use gold, which is quinacridone gold. Quinacridone gold hue. And I'm going to just fill in. I've got to pop his little shadows in, but that'll be last. And I can go right around both of the little nuts. He's got 2 nuts. Go right around both of them. And it doesn't matter if you leave little gaps of light, because the paper helps to create texture, and little gaps of light make it sparkle a little bit. Right, so that'll do that. I'll let that dry. I'm going to go onto his tum, and I'm going to make a blue-grey. I've actually got an old blue-grey left on my palette that's made from indigo, and it's indigo and a bit of brown, I think. And I'm just going to use that for my shadow tones around under his little tummy and his little leggies, because he's darker down towards the underneath of his little undercarriage. Of course, he has 2 nuts. Yes. We have to be anatomically correct. And he's a greedy little guts, isn't he? He's a greedy little guts. They're funny, aren't they? They're funny little dudes. They're hilarious. My son-in-law tells me stories about how they had them on at their house in Canada, and they were really brave little critters. So I'm fascinated by them. I adore mice, and I adore anything mouse-like, anything rodent. I adore. They're just so sweet. All right, so now I've got to ready brown it up. How the heavens to Betsy am I going to do that? They're sort of orangey, aren't they? These nuts are sort of orangey, so I'm going to add a little bit of orange. And while it's still damp, and because you know how the peanuts have got that texture to them, so I'm not going to make it solid. I'm just going to add little dots of colour, little dots of the orange while it's still damp. So how's your day been, Joe? What have you been up to? What's everyone been up to? How's your day? It's gorgeous here. We're supposed to be bucketing down rain here today, but we've been kissed by sunlight today. We've got gorgeous sun out there. For the morning at least. Squirrels are cute, although loads of people think they're horrible. Oh no! Yeah, you know what? People are like that with mice too, and I adore mice. They're one of my favourite animals on earth. Yeah. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, I suppose, but I think they're sweet as sweet as sweet. They're so innocent, cute, cheeky, fun. I think if my spirit animal is Scrat from Ice Age. He and Scrat, not how the one who's always fallen off the planet and chasing his nuts, and he's always doing stupid things and creating accidents. That's me, creating accidents. He's my spirit animal, Scrat. So yeah, I have the attention span of a squirrel. I get distracted very easily. So now I'm going to make a brown. I've got to find a brown, but I don't want to use. What am I going to use? I need an orangey brown. Okay, so I'm going to try and make one. This will be interesting. So I'm going to go just orange. And I'm going to add a dark red to it, just to darken it, I think. I'll find any old dark red. We'll see what happens. I might go magenta. Pop a bit of magenta on there. And then go be orange again. No, that's not going to work, is it? That just makes it redder. Okay, so I need to, and I need to add a little bit of mahogany. That might work. That might work. Mine would be Dory. Congratulations. Thank you, Tonkei. Okay, so that's a mixture of reds and browns just to darken up the bottom of his little nut. But yes, Scrat and I have an awful lot in common. I've got to do the edge of his little nut here. And he's got shadow under his little mouth, but I'm going to make that a purpley tone. Come down and around here, into between his little fingies. I'm going to try and keep these so they still look sort of kind of like nuts. Sort of kind of. Okay, I'm going to make a darker shadow colour, like a purple tone. So I'm going to go back to my indigo my old indigo that I had on my palette. So a bit of indigo. And I'm going to add a little bit of red to it, a bit of magenta to my indigo to make a purple tone for the shadows, because there's a dark shadow here. I love indigo for shadow tones, depending on the brand of paint. My schminkies, the indigo in schminky are beautiful. Chipmunk is super cute. They are super cute little dudes. They make my heart smile. They very definitely make my heart smile. So it's going to pop his little shadows in. Like, even so, I saw the photo and it made me giggle, and I'm like, if it makes me laugh, I've got to paint it. I've got to try. I paint with emotion. Like, I've got to love what I'm painting. I've got to enjoy it. I can't just paint for the sake of painting. I've got to really want to do it. I've got to be inspired. If I paint things just for the sake of it, it just doesn't have the painting doesn't seem to have any feeling to it. But yeah, this little dude, he made me giggle. Right, so I'm going to leave that alone for a minute. I've got to pop some stronger browns. I'm going to go into my burnt umber now. Go into my burnt umber, which is a much brownier brown. And I'm going to darken up just around his eyes, like that. And that. And people, and it's funny, you know, I painted mice before, and people have come on and said, oh, they don't want to watch because they're scared of mice. And I'm like, oh, but they're not scared of chipmunks, you know, but people, yeah, I've had people comment that they're scared of mice, and you know, they like the artwork, but they don't want to watch the video because they're scared. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's interesting. Because I love painting and drawing mice, because they're especially, you know, what are the little mice? Oh, they're absolutely adorable. What are they called? The teeny tiny ones that are the size of your thumbnail that live in the corn and the crops. They're the cutest little dudes, but they're teeny tiny. I forgot what they're called. I think they're my favourite subject to paint. The ones that stand on the wheat, the ends of the wheat. They've got a special name, but I can't remember what they're called. I've gone completely blank. Oh, and I love possums. I love painting possums. And we've got the cutest little possums, like sugar gliders here. And I had one on my veranda the other week. Oh my God, they're so cute. Have you ever seen a sugar glider? They're adorable. They are stunningly beautiful. And they float from tree to tree with they put their little arms and their little legs out, and they float and glide. Hello, Zargo. How are you, Dale? But yeah, we've got them wild here in Victoria, and they're so gorgeous. I've got to Google what the mouse's name is. So tiny mouse. Mouse. I'm just going to find out what their name is. Mouse on wheat. And see what it comes up with. They have them as pets. Yes. Harvest mouse. Harvest mice. That's what they're called. Harvest mice. I just pulled up the picture that I've got, and oh my God, it's so funny. So I'm going to do some dark grey in his eyes now. I've got to darken up the main pupil part. So I'm using Payne's grey for the darkest part. So for the first layer, I used burnt umber cobalt blue. I'm all good, and everyone else? Awesome, thank you, Dale. Doing awesome, thank you. happy camper as long as I'm painting furry little creatures. Very happy camper. There. Oh, I don't like that. What I've done to that one. Looks a bit creepy. I've got to take it lower. There we go. Take it a fraction lower. So you still get a little bit of the light a bit. He's so cute. They're such cute little dudes. Oh my God. I've got to do his little whiskers. They're such cute. They're like, even this makes me so happy. Painting these little dudes just makes my day. And he's got cute little whiskers. I better get my fine brush for his whiskies. I've got to find my really fine doodah thingy rigger thingy. I've got it here. That's not fine enough. Is that fine enough? I've used my really little brush, and I'm going to do his little whiskers on because I can't help myself. Whoops. I need to get a bit more water on there. Got to get the happy balance. There we go. Whiskers are doing it for themselves. Standing on their fairy feet. There we go. Cuteness overload. I know. Oh my God, Joe. Yes. Yes. The world is full of cute. Look at him. Oh my God. Look at that. His little happy little tum-tum. Oh my God. It just makes me so happy. Okay. I'm going to pop some little darker bits now. I'm going to use that same colour I used on his whiskers. I'm going to take it just into a few other little parts of his body, like around the tips of his ears. So that's, what did I use? I used indigo and a bit of something. Indigo and a bit of brown. That's what I used. Now I've got to darken up. Actually, I'm going to use that same colour into the bottom of his nut and around the end, because he does have darker shadows around there. A bit of a shadow here. Shadows are critical. I've been to Canada a lot of times, and all I got to show for wildlife photos are kind of ground squirrels and tree squirrels, no bears, moose, or anything like that. Oh, when my daughter went to Canada, she went on a bus trip thing, and they had 3 bears walking next to their bus. It was, and she brought me all these videos, so I've got tons of video of bears. For painting, and I haven't painted them yet. I've got to get my butt into gear and paint the bears because I love bears too. They're gorgeous. Gorgeous. Saving letters, it seems. Oh, saving letters. More supplies is always good. One can never have too many supplies. Well, actually you can, but no, you can't. One can never have too many art supplies. Just ask me. I've got 30 years worth. And they're all, I've got literally rooms filled with old paintings, old art supplies. I've got my mum's art supplies, my art supplies, because my mum was a painter, or is a painter, not was, is, and a potter. So I've got all her stuff. I've got all my stuff that and all the stuff that I've collected, because I'm a bit of a collector, and I love art supplies. Finishing up my bear art. Nice! Wow! Awesome! That's cool. That's very cool. Bears are beautiful. We get koala bears. Not many, but we get a handful of koala bears around here. We had one living out the front. They make the weirdest noise. One night there was a black bear outside my mother-in-law's trailer just by our bedroom window. I was not inclined to stick the camera out and yell, yes! No. It would have been a great last photo ever that you ever got to take. It would have been, woohoo! But then by now, yeah, no, that wouldn't have been good. Photographing bears is not conducive to a happy life, especially if you have to go outside with one. Not ideal. Come on, Jen, koalas are not bears. No, they're not bears. They're not. That's a fact. They're not bears at all. That is true. I stand corrected. But they're very cute. Unless it's a drop bear. Joe, Joe, Melbourne Zoo. Oh my God, they have a drop bear enclosure. Have you seen that? Oh my God, so funny. They have one of the enclosures as you walk in the front door, in the front gates. On the right hand side, there's an enclosure, and it's empty, and they've got warning signs around it saying that the drop bear had escaped. And oh, it's so funny. If you Google it on YouTube, or not on YouTube, Google it, it'll pop up. Melbourne Zoo drop bear enclosure, and it'll pop up with the signs and stuff. And it's so funny. And you'd be amazed how many people fall for it and think it's real. Yeah, they have a drop bear enclosure. It is fantastic. I laughed so hard when I saw it. Someone's got a great sense of humour at the zoo. But those drop bears, yeah, they can get you. They can get you. You've got to be very wary of the koala berries. All right. Mind you, koalas, they're generally really timid, but I have had one get angry. It was walking across the road, and I was trying to help it, just to sort of get it moving a bit, because I was a bit scared it was going to get squidged. So I was sort of shooing it along, and it got a bit angry at me. I was like, "Come on, wiggle, get yourself off the road," because they walk slow, like they're really laid back little dudes. They are very laid back little dudes. Generally, spend most of their days sleeping. And what else? Oh my God, wombats are really cute, but they get really grumpy. I'm trying to think. We get echidnas. Oh my God, echidnas. Echidnas are very, very cute. They're actually, that's something I haven't drawn or painted for a while, is an echidna. I've got to do some more of them. I've got to darken up. I've got to really darken up around the eyebrows. I tell everyone that visits Australia to remember the Vegemite, put Vegemite behind their ears. Oh my God, I take it the drop bear is like unicorn. Yes, a drop bear is like a unicorn. It's like a koala. It just looks like a koala, but it has fangs, and they drop on people from the tops of trees. Have wildlife recovered after the fires? No, not really, sadly. They think koalas in the wild will be extinct by 2030, which is sad, after the bushfires we had last year. And I can tell, or was it the year before? And the whole population was wiped out on Kangaroo Island. Pretty much the whole population was wiped out there. It's very sad. We've still got a small population here where I live, native in the wild, but they're building around it. Like, it's just, there are people trying to plant the trees, because they only eat 2 or 3 different types of what's the word? Eucalypt. They only eat 2 or 3 different varieties. We've got 10 varieties, but we haven't got the ones that they eat. So there's people planting them, trying to repopulate. But I think, yeah, I hope they do. I hope they can rebuild the population. And there's lots of people trying. But yeah, the bushfires just obliterated them. They found some young black cockies have come back on Kangaroo Island. Yes, and we've got them here. We've got them here. We haven't had them in years. We had, because they're migratory, so they only travel through every few years. And we haven't had them for 5 or 6 years. And this year, about 3 weeks ago, we had a flock of black cockies come into our trees. And we've got tons of rosellas, tons. And we don't usually get that many rosellas. And what else have we had? We've had tons. This year has been great for wildlife. We've had bats. We've had tons of blue wrens. Tons. Like, I've got 3 families that live here of little blue wrens, the little fairy wrens, superb fairy wrens, and they're doing a survey on them at the moment, trying to see what the population's like. So we've got 3 permanent families on our farm that live around my house, because I've got their favourite little plants planted around my house, and they nest around my house, and about 5 that come and go. So we're doing this the climate this year, even though it's been really bizarre, is really good for wildlife. Our wildlife is really happy, and a ton of kangaroos and joeys everywhere. Oh my goodness, we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of kangaroos and joeys. Like our back paddocks are filled. You go down the back paddock at night time and there's joeys and kangaroos everywhere. It's amazing. Love blue wrens. They look gangster. They are gangster. They're funny. They are tough little birds too. I've got 2 Jack Russells, and so the little wrens live directly outside my lounge room window in the one bush, right at my front window. And the dogs sit at the window and bark, and the little boy wren comes up to the window and sits there and wiggles at them. Like he sits on the window ledge on his side of the glass and wiggles and taunts my dogs. Sends my dogs crazy. It's so funny. But yeah, they got it. They're tough little dudes. They're tiny, but they're mighty. They're tiny but mighty. And out the back, the garden bed they live in at the back, the dogs can actually go near them, but they don't touch them. But the birds flitter all around them and play at them, like they taunt them. It's just, they're hilarious. They're little tiny, but they've got massive attitudes. Massive attitudes of any bird. If they were emus, they'd be deadly. But if they were the size of an emu, we'd be in trouble, because they're super duper smart, super duper inquisitive, and very brave. Too brave for their own little goods. Righto. So he's not far from done, I don't think. Cassowary. Oh, cassowary. They're my favourite bird. They are my favourite bird of all time. They are stunning creatures. When the zoo's open, I paint them a lot. I draw and paint cassowary a lot. And my favourite, there's a bird at the zoo, and I go and sit with him and I paint him. And he knows me. Like, he'd come up and stand next to me in the glass when I'm painting him at his enclosure. And they are, because I've sat next to him and looked up close, you Google their legs, they are a dinosaur. They're just a raptor. They are a raptor. They are incredible. They are just the most magnificent birds. Cape Barren geese are vicious. I've never seen a Cape Barren geese. Geese. It's a Cape Barren goose. I have to Google. We've got normal geese, but they're special. Yeah, they certainly are. I need to Google Cape Barren geese. I think all geese are very protective. Our town's got its own flock, and they have their own crossing, their zebra crossing. It's a goose crossing, where they cross the road, and the whole town stops for them. They own the town. They sit outside the supermarket and terrify everyone, especially the tourists, because we're in a touristy town. But yeah, they've just had chicks, and oh my God, they're so fluffy. But the big ones are so aggressive because they've got babies now. But oh my God, they're so fluffy. They're babies. Oh my God. But yes, I reckon that's just about done, guys and girls. What do you reckon? That took about 45 minutes. So I'm going to sign it down here. I'm going to do that. Sign that. Whip off me paper off the edges so we can get a good view. Not forget magpies. Oh, I love magpies. They've just finished their nesting here, so they've just stopped swooping. Oh. But ours know me. Like, we've got 3 pairs and their chicks on my farm, and they don't bother us because they know us. They know we're not hurting them. So they're our little buddies. Actually, I've got to change a little bit here. I've got to add, no, I don't. I need to leave it alone. No, I do need to change it. I need to add a bit of a shadow under here. His grass has got to be darker. I've got to darken his grass directly underneath him. So I'm going to go bit of sap green, bit of brown, make it a real, I can't leave things alone. I've got to add burnt umber, and sap green makes a really nice khaki, because I want that to be a darker greeny brown. My burnt umber doesn't want to lift. There we go. And then just directly under him, because he is darker, just there. Because where he sits, there's more shadow, just a fraction. Not a lot, just a little bit. And we are done. Don't forget the green spot where you clean. Oh! Thank you, Joe! I did forget. Oh, Joe, you saved the painting. My goodness. Thank you, Joe. I did forget, because my eyeballs aren't working real good. Okay, so now I dilute, get a tiny little touch on my brush, and just drag that out. Wow, and that you can see the difference in colour, but it does dry back to that tone. It dries back quite light, a good couple of tones. There we go. Thank you, Joe. I would have forgotten that. And I'm just going to drag the edge. So wet my brush and drag the edge so it doesn't leave a line, because I hate getting odd lines. There we go. You can barely even tell. No River Murrays? River Murrays. Actually, we're not far from the Murray. My family live on the Murray. My in-laws live on the Murray. Oh, I've got fairy bits here. I've got to put the fairy bits on there. Hang on. Got a couple little, just enough to add texture in there. There we go. We're good. Now we're good. Righto. Okay. We are done. So, there you go. So, thank you guys and girls. Thank you, Joe, Zargo, everyone who's dropped in. You guys and girls are a world of awesome. It's awesome, all lovely fun hanging out and painting with you guys. I love having a chat, as you can tell. So, yeah, I'll probably be back to River Murrays. No worries, River Murrays. There you go. Yes. And, yes. Actually, one of my friends on Twitch, we were talking about Aussie slang, and she's found all the Aussie slang online. Like there's a book of Aussie slang, and I'm like, so she's coming out with all these sayings, and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't you heard that for years. So, yes, very good, Joe. Like dead horses, tomato sauce. I'm just trying to think of what the other ones are. Porky pies is lies. But yeah, we do use a lot of slang here. But I hadn't actually heard No Worries, River Murrays. But I have now. You've taught me something. But yes, so anyway, I'm going to head out. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. You are a world of awesomeness. And I will probably see you tomorrow. I might come back same time and do another stream. Others maybe not YouTube friendly. Yes, Joe, this is true. I know the bad ones, but I shan't say them. But yes, no, just Google. But anyway, thank you so much. Have an awesome day, and I will probably see you all tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to go for my walk now. It's a gorgeous day outside. So there's storms later, so I'm going to get out there, do my walk, and then avoid the housework again. Thank you for being here. It's you guys that make it awesome. So it is you guys that make it awesome and make it fun to do this. So thank you for being here. Thank you. Not thank me, thank you. So I'll see you tomorrow.